Great, we will have a real fire soon.
Listen, and every time you do this, load shedding just decides to visit me. So yeah, EZIKO internet. The next
Okay,
time
one
there's
of
gonna
these
be a real life
days you need
fire.
to hook us up with a fire. A
Definitely.
real live one.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's just introduce ourselves again in case for those who are tuning in for the first time in this second episode of ours. So
Mhm.
I am Coach Londi in the social media street, birth name Londe Gamkize, and I am a relationship coach and self-mastery coach for high achievers who have decided that they want love to be part of their legacy. And I help them close the gap between love and success and meet their need for love and connection while staying true to their authentic selves. So that's what I was born to do. Love it to bits. It's very challenging sometimes, but I love it even more every day. So, and this are conversations that we are having where we got the inspiration because we have a lot of these long talks, you know, when you need to talk to somebody when things need to make sense and they are just not making sense. And we decided we thoroughly enjoy those conversations, and we get a lot of healing, inspiration, forward movement, and just to be, you know, a lot of sanity too. And we
Yeah.
decided to bring it here. And Ununu is who I often call, one of the people that I call, and we decided, you know what, this is just too good to keep between the two of us. And here we are. So Nunu, please do introduce yourself.
Okie I go by the name Coach Nunu, but my actual name, the one that you find in my ID, is Nompumelelo. But a lot of people just call me Nunu and I became Coach Nunu. So what I do, I'm a coach too, but I work in the space that involves families. So families, people who have been impacted by their upbringing and are realizing just how much that has had a negative impact on their life, and they want to change that. People who say that they recognize that they are now perpetuating some dysfunctions and toxic cycles in their parenting with their own children, and they want to change how they show up for their children. People also who say we are a family and we don't get along and would like to change that. So I help them identify the root cause of whatever it is that is causing them not to to get along, and just offer solutions and act as a guide and hold space for them as they try to find their way towards healing. So that is me in a nutshell. I do this with both adults and children. So children from the age of 10 are some of the people that I see. So this would be children who we deem to be difficult, different. You know, the one child who's just giving you sleepless nights as a parent because you can't quite figure them out. So parents will bring them to me and I will help them through that process, getting to know their child a little bit better, while at the same time offering support to the parent and giving them tools on how they can show up better as a parent when it comes to this particular child. So that is me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Nunu. It is a pleasure for everybody to get to know you. So today we are going to be talking about this. I don't even know what to call it. But my clients say it's a monster. This monster called this monster called relationships and how it acts as a mirror. Because one of the things that I work a lot with is helping people to see how their relationships are acting as a mirror, because a lot of the times when we are unhappy with our relationship, the state or the status of our relationship, we we jump to assume that we are with the wrong person. It's not the relationship that we are meant to be in, or we
Yeah.
jump to assume that there's something wrong with us, or that the relationship is failing when we are
Yeah.
finding ourselves in circumstances or going through experiences that make us unhappy. We just
Mm.
automatically assume and jump to the conclusion that this thing is not working out. And a lot of the times, it's just the relationship being a relationship,
Yeah.
giving you information about yourself and giving you information about life and certain things that you need to be making shifts and pivots in. All the information is in fact designed to move you forward. It's in fact designed to help make your life better. Hey there, Mangete Zinhle. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. So Nunu, tell us, what do you know about this concept of our relationships acting as mirrors?
So, like many of your clients, I battled with this concept. It took me an extremely long time to to get to a place of truly understanding what it meant, right? So, and I think you have summed it up nicely where you say that relationships act as mirrors in one of two ways, right? They are reflecting back the stuff that's going on inside of you via the person you are in relationship with, okay? And they are showing you also. So it's either they can confirm what is happening inside of you, and that is usually the stuff that you wouldn't be aware of. That's the stuff you're not conscious of, right? Or they are just showing you and telling you that where you are and what you are not aligned with. So they are either confirming or sort of rejecting, for lack of a better word, your current circumstances and where you are finding yourself in that particular time. And what I have come to know is that this does not only apply to romantic relationships, it starts in the home. So you've heard me mention that I deal with families and I get parents who bring me their children, and it would be the one child whom they are having a difficult time connecting with, right? And more often than not, that child is a direct mirror to that parent. And this child is shining a light onto some spaces that the parent doesn't even know that exist within them. And the reason for the disconnection is because the parent is unaware that such exists within them. That is why now it just becomes this blind spot and I don't know what is happening. And I think the same thing also happens in romantic relationships. So, for an example, let's take it to a practical example. Let's say you're in a relationship with somebody, it started off being great. This is a romantic relationship now. It started off being great, obviously, like all relationships do in the beginning, right? But as you get to know the person and you start to relax around each other and your true selves come out, the marketing phase is over now. This person, mm, they just downright mean to you. They say stuff to hurt you. They do things. You look at them and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? What am I doing to this person? And you just find that this person is just absolutely mean. Chances are one of two things could be happening. You are either mean to yourself in ways that you're not aware of when you, the person who is now receiving the meanness. And what is happening is that this partner is just shining a light on that to you about you. Or secondly, it could be that this is a continuing cycle and pattern in your life, and you can take it back to your home situation where the one person or the people closest to you are mean. So now the challenge becomes, okay, why is this thing following me? Like people would even say, I don't know, Nepal, this thing seems to be following me everywhere I go. It could be even in your work situation. But now that is the challenge. So I think the challenge to the person who's experiencing this would be to ask, what, where am I mean to myself? Which areas of my life am I mean towards myself? Because this is what it could be telling you. Or why is it that this thing seems to be following me of attracting people that are mean to me, and then start investigating and interrogating into how you fit into that. So in I think a simple sense, that's just what it is, you know. And until you identify those things, then you will start attracting the experiences that are more pleasant and that you would like, instead of the stuff that you don't like. So that's just how I've come to understand it when we talk about relationships in mirrors.
That's very interesting, and I'm gonna give another practice, an actually a common one, a common question, one that has been, since you said we must speak on this. I've received actually a few questions around it, and one common one
Yeah.
is, you know how we say relationships are mirrors, and then we go on and add a cherry on top, and then we say you actually attract. You are the one who
Oh,
attracted
yes.
this. You are the one who called this experience into your life. And then people are like, hey, no, there is
They
no
seem to
way that I
move,
that I
they
have
seem to
attracted
move
this. There is no
somewhere.
level of me that wants to be in this type of relationship, or is in any
Yeah.
form of residence with the resonance
Mm,
with this type of relationship. So these two go
yeah.
hand in hand. And
They,
and
mm,
I'm gonna unpack how they go hand in hand. So a common
yes,
thing,
yes.
especially, and this is something that happens in my practice around the same time. It used to be so fascinating to me that around these times, especially the winter months, this becomes like
Mm,
a full-blown bloom thing where there's a lot of conversation around infidelity in relationships. You know,
uh-huh,
when you get cheated on, and then a person
yes.
comes for coaching and says, and we are saying the relationship is mirroring something to you, and and you attracted this, and I no, nobody
Yeah,
wants to be cheated on.
of course.
Nobody on There's no level, any reasonable or logical level, that I would attract and want to have this experience, this painful
Mhm,
experience in my
mhm,
life. And so I have had these questions just the other day when a lady was asking me, like, how do I attract that circumstance for myself? Because she's a person who attracts people that cheat on her.
yeah.
And so she's also done it in the past as a way of reacting and saying, I want to for you to feel the pain that you caused
Yeah.
me. And then it was out of
Mm,
character for her. So she's like, no, I now want to understand, because the last time this happened, I cheated back as a,
mm,
I'm going to show you, and I
yeah.
want you to feel it now. And
Yeah.
then I got over that, and I was like, no, this is not who I want to be. Ended the relationship. And then
Mhm,
now I'm back here trying again. And then I've just gotten somebody else who's cheating on me. What is it
mm,
reflecting? What is this
mm,
mirror showing me?
mm,
And so one of the things that we had a deep conversation about, and this is, I'm talking about infidelity because it's a problem that a lot of people have in relationship,
yeah.
the faithfulness, the
Yeah.
loyalty piece of relationship. That
Mm,
is by far one of the
mm,
biggest challenges in relationship. You know, it's one of those levels where toxicity goes to that betrayal level. And
mm,
when we talking about what a relationship could be mirroring to you, especially in that instance, it's the fact that you, the authenticity level for you, you feel unsafe to be your
mm,
true, authentic self in a relationship. That is what the mirror is showing you, that you are being inauthentic. On some
mm,
level, the betrayal that you are
mm,
experiencing from the other person the inability that you are perceiving, your partner's inabilities to stay faithful and committed and honorable and loyal, is the same type of behavior you are acting or you are performing in, either to yourself or in other areas of your life. And when I say that, you can even look at, it could be in your finances, where you are disloyal in your finances. You set out a budget and you never stick to it. And the betrayal in the relationship is mirroring to you what you are doing in your finances to yourself.
Okay.
It could be in your health goals. You start out working out, eating clean, and then along the way you drop the ball. So that is when we say your relationships are mirrors, it is showing you this blind spot in this area of your life that you care about deeply. You've decided, I care about my health. I care about my finances. And every time you need to follow through with the commitment that you've made to your health or to your finances, you cheat on yourself. And then you keep attracting these partners and these circumstances now in your love life, in your relationship, where you are experiencing betrayal. And you are wondering, how is that a mirror reflection of anything about me? You are doing the very same thing. You are acting in the very same way towards your finances or your health or whatever other area. So do that investigation for yourself. Whatever the circumstances are in your relationship, in your romantic relationship, that keep rubbing you up the wrong way, that keep making you feel like you are failing in relationships or your relationships are failing. Go and look, where are you showing up in exactly the same way that this person that is hurting you? How are you them in any other area of your life? Is this how you are showing up as a parent, where you are breaking promises that you are making to your children without second thought or consideration? You are just saying yes to things and then not honoring your promises. You are making commitments without thorough thought, without proper planning, and all of these things, because those behaviors, that is what the reflection is saying. Now, when I say it goes hand in hand into you are attracting it, it's because you at this level or at this area of your life, you have really decided, I want transformation, I want change, I want to get better. And then you're saying, I want this to get better. Life presents you with a mirror that's going to show you where you are going wrong. And so if you are going wrong in keeping your promises and sticking to the budget, that's how you're going to attract somebody who commits to you today and breaks their commitment in 2-3 months. Because that's what you're doing. Every month and every week, that's what you do. And so when that shows up in your life, that's what we mean when we're saying your relationship is a mirror. So it's not just a mirror. So another confusion people make, which makes it frustrating to accept that a relationship experience can be mirroring something important back to you, is you are expecting this mirror to be telling you something about the relationship you are in. To say, oh, this relationship is wrong, there are things that are wrong in this relationship, but it's where your focus is. And a lot of the time when we get into relationships, we don't put that much focus and thought. It's not something we are sitting all day thinking about. When you're at work, you're busy wondering about your bank account. You think and worry about your bank account more than you think and worry about your partner. And because you are spending so much time focused on this other area of your life, your relationship is where you get to relax. And you are being frustrated because now the relaxing is not happening because I came here to relax. But because you let your guard down there, then that becomes the path of least resistance for the information that you need about your finances and your health then comes through. So that's what we mean. That's what that concept of relationships are mirrors, that's how you approach it.
Yeah, and also just to add on that, and I think the parts that, there are some concepts and things that are said and that are popular, that we hear, but without really fully understanding them. And I think the part that makes people angry about this line that you attracted that relationship, you attracted the situation, right? And please, Nami, I was in that boat, okay, because I feel very, very mad when somebody told me that because I also didn't get it until I got it. Guys, you attract who you are, not what you want, okay? Who you are. So if you want to see who you truly are or what you truly are, look at your relationships, look at your circumstances, then you will that is the best, I think, and the simplest way to explain it. Already, we believe that, I think law of attraction was misunderstood in that way when people just started to say, oh, okay, so I want a new jacket for winter. I'm attracting it. I'm attracting. No, who who you are and what you are, meaning you must already be feeling like you have the jacket. You understand? Because if you are still saying, I want a faithful partner, right? And you are not faithful. Remember, those things don't choose. Faithful is faithful throughout, whether it's work, whether it's play, whether you understand. So faithful is faithful. And when you call faithfulness and say, faithfulness, I claim you from the sky, they be mine, live in me. Faithfulness will definitely come. Yeah, but now, if it doesn't find a match in you, if there's supposed to be an existing magnet of faithfulness in you for faithfulness to come down from the sky and yabo, zithintane laphaya, these two magnets, and then faithfulness will become a lived reality of your life. So if, like you say, the example that you are making, this person is saying, I don't know why, but I keep attracting people that are not faithful. It's because faithfulness has come. But now it's not finding a match in her because it doesn't already exist. You see. And so it takes us to another aspect of this whole dynamic now, right? Of relationships being mirrors. Relationships, because we go into them with the intention, romantic relationships, we go into them with the intention of giving and receiving love. That's what you understand relationships to be about. I need to would say it's all about love. I want to love somebody and I want somebody who loves me. Yeah, well, so you go there, you put your best foot forward, and then that's where you get a surprise of your life because you actually find out, yes, love is a byproduct of you being true to who you really, really are. And the, the thing that you call authenticity. And so, if you have lived your entire life with a chip on your shoulder, so I'll make you an example. So, I suffered from rejection for my entire life, right? Rejection was just a thing that followed me. It followed me. It followed me. It followed me everywhere, right? And when it showed up, say, in the workplace, it still wasn't making sense to me. Obviously, this is still the same thing that's happening where people, I would feel like people don't really like me. They like what I do, they like what I produce, but they don't really like the person who is producing, which is me, right? Until I started paying attention to relationships because I went in there with the best intention. Because I need to also affect those things of working. You go there to work. You don't. Yeah, well, okay, fine. So it won't resonate there. But in relationships, because now when you don't get back the thing that you are giving, which is the love, it hurts, right? And it makes you sit up and take notice. And I started saying, man, you know. This thing, it looks very, very familiar. Yeah, but, and I started tracing back to where do I know these things from? Is it from work? No, I think it found me there. Is it? And then guess what? It took me back home. I started with this thing. It followed me from home, and now it was living inside of my relationships. And that's where it made the most sense for me, because the kind of pain it inflicted on me made me sit up and say, this feels very familiar, right? You may be wondering, Banjani, because I walk with it. It's what I'll keep attracting. Yes, I say that I want a love experience in the relationship, but this is who I am. I am this person who is walking around with this chip called rejection on my shoulder. And that is what I kept on continually attracting, especially from the people that I felt should be loving me more. Yeah, but and now it made me sit up to say, okay, how do I change this? Because I don't like this anymore. This thing hurts too much. Yeah, but and I think that is where we keep missing it. But people will then, and I also used to do that. People will then move to the next relationship, hoping that now the next person will understand me better. And you know, it's not about the next person. It's about you, because the minute you start focusing on this trip and asking, how do I make sure that I heal you and you no longer become the thing that I'm broadcasting from, you keep attracting the very same thing over and over and over again. And I think this is the beauty and the gift of relationships being mirrors. Because I tell you what, the things that we don't get to address from our upbringing and family dynamics, we take them into our intimate relationships, because those relationships mirror, they are the closest thing we'll ever get to people. You know, home and your intimate partner, you'll never be closer to an individual beyond that point, you know. So that is why a lot of people find unity when they get into intimate relationships. Oh my God, what is happening? It's like I'm watching a repeat of home. You know, home used to be on channel 161. Now I'm watching it on SABC 3, and it's supposed to be my loving relationship. Because what's happening? You need to focus on the stuff that you brought from home that you don't like, so that you get the desired experience that you wish for. That is the key, and that is the gift and beauty of relationships in marriage.
And when I know the thing about that is when you're talking about um thinking that if I jump ship here and go
Mm,
to another person, then things are gonna get better.
mm,
Um, that you're right. That is something that's very common and very disappointing when you enter into another
mm.
relationship and you just keep attracting the same demons in different bodies. You know,
Yeah.
so one of the things, because it's very, sometimes it gets too painful for you to deal with the chip on your shoulder within the concept of relationship. So you really need to be deliberate in your assessment and honest in your assessment. In as much
Mm,
as relational trauma can only be healed through relationships, when you
yeah.
find out what is the cause of the trauma. So inauthenticity is something that we throw out there, you know, and say, oh, you just need to be more authentic. Oh, you just need to
Mm,
express yourself more, your true self more. But what is the reason behind the inauthenticity? Oh, okay, the
that's there.
inauthenticity is I don't trust that if I show my true self, I will be liked or I will be
Yeah.
accepted. So now
Mm,
that becomes the problem.
mm,
Instead of trying and forcing yourself to be authentic, because everybody's saying be authentic, express your true self, ask the question,
mm,
why am I unable to do it? What's making it
mm,
hard for me to do it? And
mm.
if you are unable, listen, we are in relationship with everything. You are in relationship
Yeah.
with your body, you are in relationship with your finances, you are in relationship with your spirituality. Find an area
Mm,
that isn't so triggering. Find an
mm,
area that isn't going to put you in a state of powerlessness, in a state
mm,
of hopelessness and helplessness. When you are thinking of, oh, I feel unsafe. oh, I
mm,
don't trust. I don't trust that I will be accepted. I feel unsafe. Then don't try and find safety in your relationship. Don't
mm,
do that. Don't find safety in your relationships. Don't build trust with other people when you feel that the cause and the source of your problem is the fact that other people have let you down so many times. Then that's not where
mm,
you build the trust. Then within your relationship space and your sphere, the relationships has served its purpose by showing you that, okay, you have a
yeah,
real issue and problem with trust.
mm,
Trust is what creates the problem or the issue of you being unable to express yourself authentically or feeling safe and free to express yourself. Where can you go in all these other spheres and areas of your life? Where can you go to build trust? And so, if
mm,
it's hard for you to build trust with other human beings in relationship, then okay, let's look at my finances. Oh, I can build and start exercising this muscle got trust by
yeah,
saying, what does trust look like for me? Then you define trust. Okay, um or confidence, for example, because a lot of people thinking confidence is a thing they have on lockdown, and then relationship shows you, ooh, girl, you have no idea what you're talking about. so, so
yeah,
you need to go somewhere and build this this
mm,
this muscle called confidence, where your
mm,
relationship has showed you that you are inauthentic because you're not confident. You don't feel confident coming out to be yourself.
mm,
You are afraid that if you come up
mm,
as yourself, then you're going to be rejected. Then you're not going to be able to keep the other person happy. They're not going to be happy with you. So you are lacking in confidence to be your true self.
mm,
So if you
mm,
need to build the confidence muscle and it is feeling very hard and difficult to build it in relationship, don't try and force yourself to swim upstream. You know,
mm,
look for other
mm,
areas in your life. Okay, I can build confidence and build trust within myself first. That I can trust myself to follow through. I can
yeah,
trust myself to honor my commitments. And then you build accountability in other areas. Something I often say, because I work with people that are financially, they have achieved the success that they want financially,
mm,
and
mm,
it's a struggle in the relationship area. And these struggles in the relationship are showing things like, okay, you don't really get what confidence is, or your inauthenticity is because you are fearful and you are not really confident in your own being, in yourself. And I would say, then don't look for that in your partner. Don't look for that in your
mm,
relationship. Look outside, because you bring yourself to the relationship anyway. Like you were saying, that I bring myself to the relationship. I bring the chip on my shoulder, yeah, rejection into the relationship. You are going to
mm,
bring the confidence into the relationship, and everything is going to
mm,
change when you do that.
mm,
So what I usually say is, my financially successful people, what they often do is, because of this lack of confidence, of self-confidence, and the inauthenticity, they are very fearful in giving themselves what they want. They want to be the hero in everybody else's lives except for their own lives.
mm,
And so we start building that confidence muscle to say, okay, what is the one thing that you really, really, really want, and you've given yourself every excuse in the book not to have? You've given yourself every excuse in the book not to have. You would rather take your money and go
mm,
do something else that you are going to feel bad about, as soon as you can. Go take your money and have your money help you build the confidence thing. And people are living, you'd find it so crazy. People are living in houses that they don't like because the house that they
mm,
really like is too extravagant. They are
mm.
afraid that they're going to be judged for living in the
Yeah.
house that they like, for driving the car that they like. So it's a simple thing as, what identify the car that you really, really love, that you are going to be happy to be driving, that thing that brings you that shame, that thing that gives
Mm,
you that guilt. Go
mm,
look for that
mm,
and then go change that.
mm.
And
mm,
you'd find that when a person gives themselves that thing, they gain that
mm,
confidence back. Like, okay, I'm not gonna die. They go buy the car,
mm,
trade in the car that they have, trade in the house that they have, go buy what they really want. And because they don't die, because in your mind is saying, how am I? They're gonna reject me and I'm gonna die. And I'm gonna be like at the end of the day, all your mind is trying to do is prevent you from dying, because it does not when you're dead, life is over. So in everything that we're telling ourselves is because our primitive minds, which are the ones that a lot of us are acting on, are trying to keep us safe in the familiar
mm,
and avoid death. So
mm,
when we are saying this mirror thing, and when you're wanting to change your circumstances, sometimes it's going to be very hard to, they say take the bull by the horns. Sometimes that's not going to work, especially if something is deeply embedded, especially if something brings
yeah,
you a lot of pain. So go and make the shifts and the changes in another area where it's not going to feel so hard, where it's not going to
mm,
bring you suffering just to change the thing. It's going to be uncomfortable because, yes, after you trade in the house and then you buy the one that you really want, you yourself are going to feel uncomfortable as you accept the fact that, however,
yeah,
I'm living in this extravagant house. But the more you wake up in that house feeling safe, not
mm,
rejected by the house itself, the house is not going to kick you out. It's not going to spit you out. The car is not going to break down in the middle of the road, and then you're being accepted by the house you are living in. You're being accepted by the car that you are driving. It creates the necessary shifts in the mind that allows
yeah,
you to feel safety. And like you were saying, faithfulness is faithfulness. Safety is safety. Confidence is confidence. When you
mm,
have it, you have it. When you have it, you have it, and then you come into your relationship, it's already there. It can only get better and bigger. So
exactly.
really it is just this gift that we are able to receive from our relationships, and it doesn't need to be a source of suffering and a source of endurance, because another thing that people do, and I also used to do it, is we thought we needed to endure it. Now that we know, oh, so I know that I self-abandoned,
Yeah,
okay, my relationship just showed me that, oh, I
mm,
need to. No, you don't need to endure it. You are being shown it because on some level your mind is saying, okay, maybe we could survive. Ish, maybe I'm not gonna die. Show me. Show me. Your mind is
mm,
just looking for that indeed this thing that you're saying you want is indeed safe. You're not gonna die, you're not gonna be rejected. You're not gonna be all alone on earth because everybody's gonna leave you, because now you are happy with the car that you drive or the house that you live in. So
mm,
that's what it
mm.
comes to.
You are so right. It just makes me think of another aspect to this whole conversation, Manalund, because, you know, people, and when we talk about be authentic, it means be true to yourself about who you really are, what you like, what makes you happy. It's as simple as that. And being authentic is such a big thing for people because you know what? It takes courage. It takes courage to be bold enough to say, this is who I am, especially if you've lived your entire life building another persona of who you are, right? People feel, the things that we believe in as people that are so false, man. You feel like, okay, people know me this way. So think of it this way. I think people who will be watching us are 30 years and older. So people hold themselves hostage to an image they used to have in the past. People from high school knew me to be this way. People from varsity know me as this, so I must maintain that. But for who? Do you see, Ubuti? It's not even about you at that point. It's about other people. You understand? And hence these things become prisons. And hence we end up with people we don't even like and we're in relationship with them This is how sometimes people end up with people that cheat on them. And I'm not saying being cheated on is a nice thing or is a good thing, né? But hear me well. This is why we end up with people that cheat on us because you are cheating yourself being with that person. You know very well you've got no business being with that guy or that woman. You know what? I deserve better. Okay, I should be with. I don't even this guy. When somebody wakes me up in the middle of the night and asks me describe your ideal guy, this guy doesn't even see three things on my list. But I'm with him because people maybe have said, "Oh, sorry, such a person, such a type of a person would be more suitable for you." It's simple things such as I'm a short girl, ne? I'm a short girl, but I really like tall guys. Like, and I like not just average tall. I like extremely tall guys. And people would say sometimes, "But you're too short for that guy." Who cares? I like the extra tall guys. Yeah, but and I want to start admitting, Ubuti, me, the extremely short girl, likes the super tall guys. The super tall guys will start now gravitating towards me because I'm now telling the truth about what I really like. Yeah, but a lot of us find ourselves in prisons that we've built ourselves because people said, no, blue doesn't suit you, red looks better on you. I don't like red, I like blue. Take it. Yeah, but so we must take back the power and own our lives. And I mean, one of the things there in my line of work, ne, because those things that people, those prisons that we find ourselves in. I always say, I want you to think back. When did you first hear those statements about what was better for you? What you understand? And it usually goes back to childhood, where you were told certain things about who you are, and you are now running on that script. So that's why it becomes difficult to be authentic, to be who you really, really, really are for yourself, where you get to define what you like and what you prefer and what you want your life to look like. Yeah, but and so what happens is because you get another category of people, right, who will say, okay, fine, okay, I'm no longer dating the average height guys. I'm not going for my extra tall guys, ne? And then I get him, and then I can't keep him. You know why? Because once I hold him, he's like, oh my gosh, this is too good to be true, and I drop him like a hot potato because I can't believe it's like, oh, I never thought it could happen to me, and that is when people get that self-sabotaging when they get the things they've been wanting all along. And you know what causes that? It's that feeling of unworthiness. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. I shouldn't be. I should be looking at the average height guys because it it looks better when he's standing next to me. Oh no, people would say this guy is too tall and he doesn't look. Yeah, I understand that. This is when because some people do try this thing and then they get it and it's like, oh my gosh, this is how you get people level I blew it. You know that show where people get like millions and then they spend it in 3 months and it's over and it's like blue because you finally have this thing that you've been wanting. But now it's like, and then you start having a heart attack and then you drop it quickly, you spend it quickly, you sabotage the relationship because somewhere at the back of your mind, you believe somebody told you don't deserve this. When you all of you don't deserve this. And then when things are that thing and say, actually, you know what, I do deserve it. I have a right to have this. You get it, and then you're like, that thing comes back, and you quickly drop it. It's the feeling of unworthiness. Yeah, so I think we need to be very aware of why we keep doing things, especially because everybody deserves to be in a loving relationship, and I truly everybody deserves to be in a loving relationship. And like I said earlier, it's not only about romantic relationships, even relationships with your family members. So if you've been having difficult relations with somebody in your family, maybe it's one particular person or a group of people, but they are exhibiting the same things, right? Just try and get to the root of how that came about and how you've been responding. Because maybe now the reason why this thing has a hold on you is because you are responding based on the things they told you about yourself. Yeah, but, And sometimes the thing that's gonna actually remedy this whole thing is for you to tell the truth about yourself to yourself first and foremost. Because you can, you can say to those people that keep having fights with you at home, wherever, and be like, and they call you mean, and they call you all sorts of things. Yeah, whatever, whatever, whatever. And I'm not the person. And you're like, you know what? That's how you feel. I don't believe I am that way. And I'm sorry you believe that about me. And get off that bus. Guess what? Conflict dissolved. Because sometimes this thing keep happening because naturally we refuse to get off the bus because we are still running on that script of what the other person told us about ourselves. How does that work, bro? Because this is my life. How do you tell me, Ubuti, I'm yellow when I'm red? It's, sometimes it's a matter of giving people too much power over our lives. And for you to be authentic, it is about having the courage to take the power back to say, this is who I am, according to me, nobody else, and present yourself in your truest version. And you'll see the things that you start attracting will start changing. Honestly, I think sometimes we need to look at it from that perspective where you stop caring so much about what other people do and say and ask yourself, okay, now who am I? What is my truth about me, about this situation, about these things that I find myself in? Do I even want to be here? Like you said, the house example. Do I like this house? Do I like this car? Did I buy this car because somebody told me it's the most affordable for? Come on, get the car that you like, please. Okay, and
No,
you'll
it
afford
looks
it.
good.
Trust
It's
me.
what executives are supposed to be driving.
You know what I'm saying?
And
You
we're
know
not
what
into
I'm
the
saying? Yeah.
hmm. And
Hmm.
with getting the courage. So this is where, well, as you were speaking, like for somebody who's wondering, where do I get the courage to be authentic? Because the reason why you've been accepting being told about
Hmm.
yourself, uh, who you are, who you should be. We needed that at some point in our
Hmm.
lives. That was
Hmm.
important. It was useful. It was a valuable thing to have. Being told, like if you are a child growing up, being told it's okay when you are a girl. This is what girls do. When you are a boy, this is what there are basic things that we needed. It was important that you receive this information from other people because you didn't know. It was a way
Hmm.
of learning about yourself. But
Yeah.
the authenticity and the courage to be authentic now is
Yeah.
identifying accurately where you are in your life.
Hmm.
You are no longer at that age where you are dependent on other people for your survival, you know?
Hmm.
And so, because you're no longer dependent on other, when we are kids, we depend on our caregivers and our adults and other people and our community for our survival and our safety. And a lot of us don't let go of that reality
Hmm.
when we grow older. And then we
Hmm.
start recognizing that what, I don't need my mother to feed me or tell me that I
Hmm.
should eat now. I'm probably hungry. I can feel when I'm hungry and I have the ability and the capacity to walk and get myself food. So I can do that now. And I don't need to listen to my mother when she says I mustn't eat this, I must eat this because this. Now I know my body and I can feel my body reacting to things. So it starts with you accurately recognizing the level and the stages of your life that you are in. Because
Hmm. Hmm.
that is one thing. You were speaking about us keeping ourselves in prisons and bondages of, hey, when I was this, when I was that. And it happens when you don't recognize and acknowledge how far you have grown. I am an adult.
Hmm.
I am no longer a child. I am a this. I am no longer a that. When you recognize, when you have a level of self-awareness, then you are going to have the courage to jump into authenticity shamelessly, boldly, unapologetically, because you understand where you are. And when you understand where you are, you will see and be able to use that to your advantage. And it really is that. For a lot of people, like relationship dynamics now, in the past, it was all about survival. It was all about being taken care of. That was the rule of the game. It was about get the person who's going to be able to take care of themselves and you comfortably. We don't need that anymore. A lot of women really struggle with relationships because they don't need men to take care of them. And so they don't know what to do in the relationship. And a lot of men are challenged because they don't know what to do when they are not taking care of the woman financially. So they don't know what to do with themselves. And it's that thing of recognizing where you are, what time are we in, what culture are we in. And it's not conformity, it's being respectful to your environment. You are not conforming to anything and saying, oh, so culture dictates that we do. No, it's you being able to recognize that I am on planet Earth and oxygen is how we stay alive. So oxygen is going to be what I breathe in. I'm not going to deliberately go and look for carbon dioxide to put in my body. We all respect where we are. We respect the fact that our bodies need oxygen. We respect the fact that we need to eat food. So it's that thing, acknowledging where you are in terms of the times we are living in terms of the circumstances we are living in, and then acting in your authenticity in a way that allows you to thrive in the environment and in the times without having to rebel. It's not it doesn't need to be rebellion. It doesn't need to be conformity. But what we should be doing and what our relationship are showing us is we need to act in alliance with who we are, in alliance with where we are, in alliance with what we want. That's that's just how it works, you know. And if you are going to be defiant, or if you are going to be conforming, that's where the problems start. That's where you move against your own authenticity, because you know you're breaking away from your own essence. You're breaking away from where you are, insisting on eating milk when you are a solids baby. You're gonna suffer. You're no longer a child. You can't survive on milk alone. Now you need solids. So eat solids. You know, it's basic things like that, where we think that if we acknowledge and we align with culture, with time, with just awareness of where we are, we're thinking we are either conforming or defying. No, it's about creating an alliance. It's about creating harmony with where you are, so that you can express who you are in that area. No matter how much you try, for the fact that you are a human being living on planet Earth, your body needs oxygen. There's nothing you can do about it. There are principles in relationship. There are principles in finances. There are principles in health. There are principles in spirituality. Everything is governed by law and principles. So also how we learn and our relationships come to show us those things. That, oh, okay, silapha ngoku. And it's just wanting you to acknowledge, oh, silapha ngoku. Like you were saying, just acknowledge, okay, this is where we are, this is what it is, you know. And another mistake when it comes to relationships that makes this mirror thing so annoying. Believe me, it annoys the best of us. So annoying is that we assume, and we have this expectation when we reach certain levels, or when we have certain experiences in relationship, it marks the end of something. And a lot of times it marks the beginning. We go into relationships looking for an end, and the relationships offer beginnings. That is one mistake that everybody makes, where we assume that by entering a relationship, nobody looks what am I beginning? Oh, it's the beginning of trust. It's a beginning of loyalty. It's a big things you've never had to practice on your own. Now you have to do in a relationship. It's a beginning of a lot of things that you've never done or had to do when you are on your own. But we don't think about that. We are thinking about what am I going to get out of this? And we don't think, oh, how do I start to get that thing successfully? Because it's not going to fall onto your lap. And however, we do enter wanting it to fall into our laps. Oh, I want the love to fall on my lap. I go, the loyalty must fall on my lap. But all of these things are things we practice, and all of these things are things that we do. And most of these things are things we've never seen. We just know conceptually. We have no practical experience of it. It's things that we need to, it's a lot of the time things that we need to learn. And so looking at a relationship as an ends, like I always say when I was in my first calls with clients, when I ask them, so your relationship is the means to what ends? And they're like, eh? The means to an end. I'm like, yeah, it's the beginning of something. What are you beginning? They get the shock of their lives. Like, oh, but what do you mean I'm beginning something? This is the end of my being singing. Yeah, okay, and the beginning of what? What is the beginning of companionship? Okay, the companionship is a means to what? What is this companionship going to do for you? What is it going to bring you? What are you going to get out of this companionship? No, I just want companionship. For the what? For the what? What are you going to do with it? You know? So looking at it in that way, that look at all the things that the relationship is also signaling you to say, this is the beginning of. And know and accept in the same way that you accept that oxygen is a necessity for your body, accept that your relationship will be a beginning of many things that you are not good at, that you are not a natural at. It's going to be a beginning of a lot of things that you also need to learn and unlearn. It's the beginning of the expression of a you that you have not yet experienced or expressed. And so when we're talking about the mirror, this mirror is not the mirror that you go to because you want to see the pimple that you know you have. This mirror is the mirror that's going to show you what's there that you don't see. And that is, if you can just get it there in that level, that is not going to show you what you already know you have. It's going to show you the stuff that you said you want. That you need to put your big girl panties on and go and start learning, mastering, becoming second nature. And then you're going to get bored with it. And then you're going to want something else that you don't know. That too. There's that too.
When we approach relationships, I think the mistake that we make, I don't know who taught us this, I don't know where we get this from. Firstly, relationships consist of human beings, right? And as human beings, we are constantly growing and evolving. The day you become a finished product is the day they declare you dead. So, yes, you may get into a relationship. So when you are still fantasizing about your future relationship and what you want from it, right? You are at a certain station in life. You understand? You are somewhere, right? And wishing for stuff that you have yet to experience, which maybe have not been part of your reality, right? But guess what? As soon as you get to that level, it's like being in a lift, an elevator. You press going to floor number 5, right? So when you are still wishing, so this relationship is at floor number 5 and you are getting on from the ground floor, right? So as this elevator is going up, this is you with your hopes and your dreams, and then voila, you get to floor 5. This is where the relationship is. This is where it lives. It's on floor number 5. But the minute you step onto floor number 5, I guess you've never been to floor number 5. There's gonna be things that you find there, and you're like, but it's like this here. I didn't know this. I didn't know this. So we need to go in with the openness of understanding Ubuti. Yes, I may have come here with a pocket full of dreams and ideas of how this is supposed to be, but you don't know what's waiting there for you. But one thing that you need to keep in mind is that whatever it is that you find there, whether you deem it to be good or bad, is there to help you sharpen you and to be more clearer about the things that you like and don't like and who you are and who you are not. Because trust you me, if you get to floor number 5 and you're like, oh okay, this is me and my dreams and but guys, I'm not even getting a 50% pass. Let me go back to the list. You see, now you know a little bit more about yourself than you did arriving at floor number 5. Yeah, but so people, number one, shouldn't expect finished products in human beings when looking for relationships because you yourself, you are growing baby, you know. Yes, have an idea of the type of relationship you want, have an idea of the type of person that you like, but also be open to learning. And the thing, the beauty about all of this is you come out knowing more about yourself than anything else because now you will know with man, this I don't like people, a lot of people, for as an example, that thing about people, us running on what we were told about ourselves and what we should be liking and not liking and whatnot. A lot of people, like you say, get to relationships, get to staying together, get to marriages even, and they're like, I don't like it. I don't like this whole thing. I don't like living with someone actually. What's the fun that everybody was talking about? And you know what? As long as it is you that's making that discovery, you know what? This doesn't align with my true self. Then it's good. Now you know something about yourself that maybe the staying together business is not for me. Yeah, but just don't live according to other people's standards. Get there, try it, explore, and when you say that, the staying together thing doesn't work for me, be able to back it up. Obviously, why is it that it's not for you? And don't make it about the other person. When I felt stifled, I feel like I don't get to be who I really am. No, I actually don't like seeing my person 24/7 every day of the week. I want to miss them a bit. I want to, and tailor it. That's the only way you're going to know. So that is why it is so important to always be true to yourself about who you are at any given time. And don't hold yourself hostage to the version of you last month because
You know,
you've moved on. Even last month is too old. Trust me. Even last week
I
even is too old because the things that you liked last month, now suddenly, they're not as you're not as fired up. So keep up with yourself. Keep up.
mm,
And this is like because we were just sold this fallacy of the relationship is about the other person. I want to make him happy. That's why when he doesn't, we are quiet because but guys, how is that even possible? When you don't even know what's going on with yourself. But so those things are never meant for the other person. The things that you say we are looking for from the other person is things that we should be giving ourselves so that the person ushayanje chop up. And you're like, oh my God, I never thought this could happen, because you're already giving it to yourself. So if vele now you're coming there with an empty cup, it's never gonna feel like it's enough. And this is where now the frustration and the resentment comes because somewhere in your subconscious mind, in the deeper parts of you, the inner man is saying, but me, you're not giving me this, and you're busy giving it out. And that's why uzokwata when your love is not returned, when your efforts are not rewarded because you are not giving them to yourself. Ah, la. So Charity begins at home, at home, at home being you.
I'm
Yeah,
the
but
home.
that is where, yes, you are the home. Because this is the broadcast tower. When this home is happy and fulfilled and satisfied, guess what? It's gonna attract more of the same. That is what they mean when they say you attract who you are and what you are. Yeah, but people have lost faith in relationships. Men are trash. Hey, women this, women just want money. Washa. You know, when you're a woman, it doesn't even matter, man, woman. When you make, when you have your own money and your partner says, yeah, uh, 9 months, no, right?
Woo! You're like,
No,
oh.
no,
Hey,
9 months,
kumnandi kakhulu
no.
man. Ngithola ama-allowance every month mina manje.
Listen, we were having earthquake money, young, small money. I'm like,
Hayi
listen, you know what
ngiyathutha.
makes it sweeter? You know what makes it sweeter? If you were getting yourself a hot chocolate for the snow, and we are like, where you going? No, I'm going to get chocolate because it's snowing. And it's like, oh, okay. Me now, you get gloves or something else for snow. That's when you do the happy dance. Not when you are asking for it. Be like, where's my snow money? Yeah, well, even when he gives it magic, it doesn't give you that happy dance vibe. Kanti, if you're already on your way to get yourself something for the snow, you know, to celebrate the snow, when somebody chops you up, it's like, oh, oh, how nice, thank you. It becomes like sweeter. So when we when we think relationships, that's exactly what we should be approaching it from. Both for our relationships, ukuthi the things that you expect from your mom, from your siblings, from your cousins. Yeah, you guys, you always treat me badly. How about you start treating yourself nicely so that you don't give them room to treat you badly? Because when they do start treating you nicely, you're gonna be, oh, that's nice, and it becomes that bonus. Yeah, and you are in a position to receive it and see the beauty of it. Because trust me, if you're still operating from you waiting for them to do right by you, when they do it, you're gonna still be looking for a mistake, with your red pen. With yeah, but you didn't do it right. You're supposed to do it this way. Can't you? When you are already giving it to yourself, the thing that you want the most, when somebody else comes and fills up your cup, oh my gosh, it elicits that beautiful feeling, that excited feeling, and it just changes everything. It changes how the story has been running because now this person is like, oh my gosh, she actually appreciates my effort. She actually sees that I'm doing this now because when you are sitting there with your empty cup, when somebody pauses, you are measuring before they are done. Tell her foot, you're never satisfied. Yeah, but and the person feels discouraged. So everything starts with us. It doesn't matter what people have been doing to us. Yes, we need to address those things, but at the end of the day, you then need to decide, which you know what, those things that I feel they should be given to me, let me give them to myself. And then you detach from waiting and wanting them. Yeah, but and even when it does happen, it's like a cherry on top thing. Yeah, and then now you get to experience the beauty of it. Yeah, and it's just gonna make things a lot more easier and manageable going forward.
Mm. So what I'm really
Mm.
getting is that, which I'm loving from this conversation, is that if you want to be happy in relationships and if you really want to have it work for you, I'm saying that deliberately. Have
Mm.
it work for you. I'm not saying
Mm.
make it work. Ne? Hear
Yeah,
me very
yeah,
well. In Nunu's
yeah,
voice and her own words. Hear me well. I'm saying have it work for you, not you make it work. You really
mm.
need to approach it with an explorer mentality, an explorer attitude.
Mm.
Ube udora the explorer.
Mm.
Who is on some oh, I wonder what's behind here. Oh, I wonder what's the, and really, when you do that, that is how, like, honestly speaking, that is how I would say is what works for my husband and I, because we just have that attitude of, hi, okay, zaza in free strings, like we've never been here before, and we are okay with the fact that we've never been here and we have no idea what here is all about. And the question we have for each other is, do you want to be here with me? Yes, okay, sure. Let's go. We don't know. So another thing is trying to be an expert, walking in and wanting to be an expert at something that you don't know is another great, consider that a red flag for your own self, your own personal red flag. If you want to walk in and be an expert at that relationship from the get-go, you are the walking red flag. Minanje, my recommendation is be Udora the explorer when it comes to relationships, and you are not exploring the other person more than you are exploring yourself. Because all you will learn are your own preferences. All you will do is get clarity on your own aspirations. All you will do is get in tune with your own creative powers as well. So really, at the end of the day, we stay in relationship. When people ask, I remember when my friends used to ask me, oh, Emma, how do you stay with the same person 10 years? All of these things. And I'm like, because it's very little to do with them and a whole lot to do with me. I am very clear about my benefits in that relationship. So have that clarity and allow yourself to receive that clarity and all of this goodness. So it really boils down to that. If you had any confusion and reservations around what it means when we say relationships are mirrors, I really think this is the simplest way. Even the best way that I've ever explained it in the past, like today, gave me clarity on so many levels on what this concept means. It just simplified it even better for me. So if anybody has questions, pop them up in the comment section below here.
While we wait for questions, there's a saying that Iana Van Sant has, which I love very much. And she says, you don't get to tell people how to love you. Your job is to see if you like how they love and then decide if you want to stay or leave. It's like in simpler terms, you are at a bus stop, you have an idea of where you want to go. You get on a bus, or the bus comes, it's not going where you're going. Let it go, or you get onto the ride that's supposed to be going where you are. You don't like how the driver drives, he's a bit too reckless or whatever. Please tell the driver, slow it down, do something. But if you find that the driver is like, this is how I drive, and this is how we are getting to the destination, then hey, Sissy, would you get off the bus? Because I used to do something telling you, would see, this is how I drive. And in my bus, this is how we're gonna drive, and it's not gonna change. Decide, do you wanna be in that bus or do you wanna get off? And you've got all the rights to get off because you're just not comfortable with the speed of the bus and the recklessness. You don't feel safe.
And here's an important thing when I know, and I really am cutting you here deliberately because this is an issue that a lot of people come into coaching with. That I'm tired of getting off buses. When you've gotten off a bus and you've identified the reason why you got off a bus, it is your responsibility to sharpen your own sword, your own discernment, so that you are able to recognize that bus, that it has that same bus when it comes around and it's been painted and it now has tinted windows. It's your responsibility to recognize that bus. This is the same bus I let go the other day. Don't get in that bus just because it has tinted windows. Don't get in that bus because now they added a stripe on the colors. It becomes your responsibility. Meaning that when you're jumping out of relationships, go and sort out the stuff that you found out that it's not working. Is go and find out why you are attracting that. Go fix the chip on your shoulder, because it's the chip on your shoulder that's putting you back in that same bus stop. Go deal with the chip on your shoulder, and then again, you're not gonna have the problem of saying, "Yo, I'm tired of the body counting, coaching." Getting into another relationship only to get out again. I have to make it work with this person now. No, that's a recipe for disaster, and there's no reason you should be doing it like that. When you've recognized and you realize your preferences, when you've recognized and you realized your truest desires, it is your responsibility to make sure that where you go, the signal you are broadcasting. Then you find a hitchhike. When you are standing there hitchhiking, not every car that comes along is going to stop you. Why? Because even the driver on the car recognizes the type of person they want to stop for. So if the people that are stopping for you are not your match, it's because you are the one who's dressed right to attract them. Nobody else is going to fix that.
You know what? You are making a very important point here. For those that say they are tired of getting off the bus, and excuse me, I've been that person of, I used to get off quite quickly. I don't know if time. But it's not just, so between you getting off, people use the time of being single incorrectly. Let me break it down. Guys, the time when you find yourself single and you are not in a relationship, and you know what you would like to be in a relationship, so you are in between relationships, please don't use that time to be just searching for, this is the time for you to sit down and do some stock taking of why it is that you are where you are single. And there's nothing wrong with being single. But this is the time for you to get to know yourself better, to do a stock taking of all the buses that you had to get off from, right? And then state Ubuti, actually, this is what I would like to see happen. Because that time is a very useful time to get to know self, so that you see, sometimes people say sometimes your mirror is dirty, you need to go clean it up. And that's where you gain clarity. That's the clarity stage and the awareness stage, right? About who you are and what you want and what you prefer. Because you find that you're busy standing at bus stops when you should be catching flights.
Yay!
When you should be catching flights, when you should be at OR Tam or Kinshaka, you've got no business being at park station catching buses. You understand? So when you get out of a relationship, stop looking to get onto the next one, because that's when you're gonna miss the signs. Sit, take some time out, do your stock taking, go back, and find out which, okay, what happened there? What didn't I like? What parts did I have to play into it? What stage was I in for me to be finding myself at North taxi rank, the MTN, La Payane, PTPT? It's not enough to only look at other people and the relationship. Now, what part did you play? Because you took yourself there now somehow. And then ask yourself, what type of relationship do I want? Where do I want to be going? Be clear, so that you find beauty. Bus stop is not where I should be. Nor taxi rank is not where I should be. Me, I should be in an airport somewhere catching flights. Because sometimes people, it's that lack of clarity about ourselves and about what we want and what we want to achieve and what we want relationships to be doing for us. Like you say, the means to an end. What end? What is the end? What is the end? So you do know, you know what? The people who get onto buses or who drive buses are those. Yeah, but so I've seen ukuthi those are not my type of people. And ngeke uba-change ukuthi kuba ama-pilot. Yabo, bus driver, bus driver. You want a pilot, go catch a flight. Yeah, but because now you are
Amen.
one thing again, you just be attracting disappointment after disappointment after disappointment when you're looking for your pilot in a bus. So why is that? Yeah, man. Okay. So why is that? Yeah, 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 yeah. So please use the time. Stop looking for. Yeah, next time I want. Okay, that's all good and well because you will find the person maybe, and the person's like, okay, Sisi, what do you bring to the table? What do you know? What do you bring to the table? When do you know? Well, do you know? Yeah, but and that
I
can
know my
only
way.
come from the what's your word? Exactly. You see, you need to know how to say those things really, and people will get offended. But guys, come on, what are you bringing to the table? And that question simply put is, who are you?
Mhm.
Velati, Uyaji, what do you want? That is what they mean by bring to the table. And then you and brother men can compare notes. Yabo, and see, yeah, manje, if you wanna go on this journey together, if he is the right match, and so on and so forth. You can't know those things if you don't have the knowledge of self. Yeah, and expect the other person just by looking at you to know and figure you out. You know, so this one is going there. This is what she wants. Like, come on, like, let's be fair. How? No, it doesn't get like that. Yeah, but knowledge of self is very critical. You should be studying yourself more often than you do other people because then life will make better sense for you. Yeah.
Amen. Mina, I want to leave you with two things. Number one, when you are lonely, that is the worst time for you to be looking to enter a relationship because you are feeling lonely. You are feeling lonely, call a relationship coach. Do not
Please.
enter a relationship. That is the
Mm,
worst time to enter a relationship.
mm,
Number two, love don't make the world go round. That relationship. Self-awareness makes the world go round. That relationship.
mm,
So those are
mm,
the two things. Because these are the two things that I see a lot of in my line of work as a relationship coach. People looking for relationships because they're feeling lonely, because they are afraid they can end up alone. That's not the time to be looking for a relationship. That is the time for self intimacy so that you can gain the self awareness because you really are what you bring to the table. And when you are really clear about who you are, because the lack of the relationship and your desire for a relationship, that is also a relationship giving you feedback. That
yes.
is also feedback. That is also a mirror situation, mirror moment. So when
Mm,
you're feeling lonely, do not enter a relationship. Enter self intimacy and gain the self awareness that is necessary for you to be able to allow and have relationships work for you. This is my
and
drop my phone.
And my drop mic moment is what is not resolved in the home follows you into the relationship. Because parents, when that word is scrambled, it also can be written as partner. So resolve your family related issues in order for you to have the type of intimate relationship you desire. Okay, that is me, and I am out.
Hi, girl. Siyabulela Ntombi. It is always such a pleasure. It is always so insightful, liberating. I always feel lighter after these conversations. So thank you so much. Zinhle, thank you for staying throughout. I'm so glad. We are very glad that you found this valuable, powerful. You can catch the recording. I will just be on the lookout on our stories as well as on our feed. And I do save the recordings in a YouTube channel so that you can go back as many times as you want, you know. Sometimes it's better when you re-listen again. So you will definitely have access to the recording. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence. We really do appreciate you being here and sharing your energy with us. Thank you so much. It gives us purpose, fulfillment, and it is a great honor. So we will see you again soon. Look out again on our stories and our feeds for details of our next session. So from me and Nunu, it is good night. See you next time. Bye.